Don't give up, you gon' be on. Don't give up, don't give up, give up. Don't give up, you gon' be on. Don't give up, don't.
Greetings, Redheads. Thank you for joining me in another episode of your favorite show, the one, the only Red's View. I am your gracious host, Jay Red. And as always, make sure you subscribe to youtube.com/WeAuthenticNetwork. Now, I have a very, very special guest with me today. You know, I interview artists of all kinds, all calibers. So we have somebody special with us. She goes by the name of Kendra Black. What's happening?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. As I tell all my guests, I'm just avoiding COVID, staying healthy, staying working, staying grinding. That's all you can do, right?
That's the game right now.
Definitely, definitely. So Kendra, man, I got a chance to listen to some of your music and everything like that. But for those who don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I started in R&B, then I ventured into pop, and that was my big break. That's when I had my first feature with Snoop Dogg, and then my feature with Spice One of the song that you have today, Hustler. And then after that, though, about a year ago, I started DJing, and that was a new addition to the way I perform, and it gave me a whole new perspective, a whole new layer to experiment with. It was literally like what I needed. So now what I do is I perform while I DJ. Basically, I DJ and I sing, and I create, remixes with my voice, and obviously sing my songs and reinterpret like everything that I had the chance to sing, basically.
Wow, that's super creative. So you DJ and perform at the same time. That's
Yep.
that's what's up. Yeah, that's very creative. That's something I was thinking about doing too, because I DJ and I do music as well. So that's real good. Very innovative. So you mentioned that you have a song with Snoop Dogg. Now that's something I didn't know about you. What song is that?
Oh, it's Rude from my first album, The Edge. It was released in 2017.
Okay, got you. How did that collaboration come about?
Well, it was kind of like I started working with some people that I met in New York, because when I came here, I didn't really know anybody. So it all came together once I moved here, and I started like getting my feet wet and knowing like who to work with and stuff. So then I had the opportunity to go to LA to the Trend F Studios. To work on some music and put together an album, which was The Edge, which was released half in LA. I mean, recorded half in LA and half in New York, and then released in New York. And yeah, that's how we got Rude and Snoop Dogg in the project, and it was cool because Snoop has always been like my favorite rapper since I was a kid. So it was dope for that to be my first big feature and my second feature yet. Like before that, I released one song, Tonight, in 2014. That was my first thing I ever released, and it was a feature with two rappers. And then I went on to like Snoop Dogg, and I was like, okay, nice. It's progressing. It's getting good.
Upgrade, like to go from that to Snoop Dogg, like that's big. How is Snoop? I've never got a chance to meet him before, but I'm quite sure he's fun to be around. Like,
What do you think?
Man, he's one of my favorite rappers of all time too. So I can just imagine, how.
Right? It's just something about him. He's just cool. He just gets on many projects, which is something that I really like. It's something that I want to do too. Many features, many, he's not afraid to branch out, which I think is important. And same with Spice. I released the official track for Hustla, but I'm getting ready to release the music video, and I'm really excited about that. It has a cool concept about it that I think people are gonna dig, and then a remix and video of the remix, and Spice was super cool. Like he jumped on the project real fast. He was like, "Yeah, I'm in, sure."
Yeah, because when I saw Spice One, I said, "Oh, okay, Spice One." Spice One is definitely a dope rapper, legendary rapper out of on the West Coast. So you got a good West Coast connection right there. Who's next? We're gonna do some with Kendrick Lamar, Dr. Dre?
I mean, I'd love to actually. Kendrick Lamar, Travis Scott, 21 Savage. I mean, there's many more. I like people in all genres, but like I would love to do a feature with them or Future as well. But yeah, no, Travis Scott for some reason just like I don't know, his music just hypnotizes me. But there might be another feature with Snoop coming soon. Can't really say too much, but it's gonna be dope, and it's going to be great to get him back on now that some time has passed and I made my way through different genres and different things. I feel like it could be a cool mix of electronic and hip hop.
Definitely, definitely. So let's take it to the beginning. How did you start creating music? How old were you?
Well, I was like 6 when I started both dancing and singing. So it was really something that I did for myself. I didn't think of it as a career immediately. And I ended up venturing into ballet, which is something that not everybody knows about me, but it's kind of known. I don't really talk about it much, but it was a very important part of my life. That started when I was about 11 and a half. I left home. I went abroad and studied ballet, and never came back. Basically, I kept traveling, and I kept changing cities and academies to see like where I could graduate from and what that could bring. And I've been around, but the thing is, it got so heavy on like my spirit that at one point I realized once I graduated as the youngest in my class from the Curve Academy of Ballet of Washington, D.C., got a traineeship with Joffrey Ballet in New York City, took the opportunity more for New York City because I was like, yes, okay, I'm going to take this opportunity and embrace it. But main thing I want to do is I want to see New York. I want to see what can happen over there, you know? And then that's when I realized also that I felt more like myself when I sang. So even though I had been singing all those years, people didn't really like know anything about my singing. I had a 0-page resume, nothing. And I had this huge collection of like, things that I had accomplished with my ballet, and everybody was a little bit confused. They were like, "Why are you doing that? Doesn't make sense." And I was like, it's my life. It's whatever. So I went into music, and that's when it really started. And I was 17 and a half in New York City, and basically I'm still here and still making moves in New York, and that's where I laid some roots. And in New York, I had the chance to work with a lot of people. Some are still in my life and my career, some are not, but overall it is a city that can bring a lot of opportunities. There's always somebody that can bring something to the table, and I think that's beautiful.
Definitely, definitely. So, where are you originally from? Because I know you said you've been in New York City for a while, but where are you originally from?
I was born in Italy, in Palermo, in Sicily. But then I moved out when I was 11 and a half. It's kind of like weird to say. I was very, I don't know, mature for my age. I just didn't see anything wrong with being like, okay, I'm just going to go now and venture through the world. It's been enough time here. And now I look back, I'm like, whoa. But yeah, so at that age, I moved to France initially and then the United States when I was 15 in Washington, D.C. And then after that, I came to New York, and it was literally just the second city I ever um, lived in and been to, aside from Boston. So it's, my whole adventure in the United States kind of like started almost like suddenly. And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like I could stay here. I feel like I belong more to this part of the earth than that one in a way, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And what you're doing with your music is amazing. But if someone is to describe your music, what would you tell them your music is? Because I hear a lot that's in it, you know what I'm saying? But I want to get your take on what you describe your music as.
I would say um, like a trappy, bassy, um, pop. Although I don't really, honestly, I don't really classify myself as pop. I've been in pop for the longest time, but truly, that's not what my soul calling was. I was more into like, hip hop and R&B, and also like EDM, like heavy bass EDM. So that's kind of what I'm doing now. But then I kind of like got sucked into pop, and I was like, this is kind of cool. It's going well, and I'm enjoying it. So yeah. But then at one point, I was like, all right, let me see where I can take it. So I'd say that's how I classify my music. Really, it's a mix of all these genres and things that I learned throughout my musical journey. I lost my voice at one point. I got it back. It's been a whole it's been a whole journey. So now I would say like a trap bass. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All of it together. It's just a blend of, because I didn't really know what to expect, because when I saw the Spice One feature, I was like, oh, this may be a
All
rap.
of my music is different. Everything I released is like slightly different. You never. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, because I hear the EDM and all that stuff in there, but yeah, like you definitely got a voice on you. So you said that you lost it and then it came back. Did you get in an accident, or like what happened with that?
Kinda. Might be kind of a heavy story, but I'm lighthearted about it. So basically, I was in Italy to see my family for the summer, and then I happened to have to spend a week alone at my house because they went on a trip, and I couldn't wait. I mean, not to throw parties, just to chill, just to be. I mean, I love being by myself, anyways. and to throw parties too. But on the first night, as they left and I came back home from a friend's house, from a neighbor, and it's like an island, everybody's like close to each other. I was biking, there's this car following me. Before I know it, long story short, I'm upstairs, I think everything's good, then I hear noises. These five people, completely covered, were like basically in my house, and they punched a cleaning lady who passed out and was of no help. And I was left dealing with these five people, and I was extremely scared. So the first thing they did was they put one of them put his hand on my mouth, and I have OCD. I hate being touched like that. So I was like, what's going on? He's like, shh, don't scream. In that moment, I feel like my voice was taken away from me, but I didn't really realize it until much later. Why? Because all in all, the whole thing lasted like 10 minutes. 5-10 minutes, not that long. To me, it felt like it lasted a half hour. But I made my way to my room and I had a phone in there. I closed the door, completely unharmed. So then after that, I expected to be at least a little bit traumatized, and I wasn't. And I was like, okay, this is weird, Why am I not, I was a little bit angry, but I should have been way angrier. And I wasn't traumatized at all. Like next night, I was out with my friends and it was like 4 a.m. and I didn't want to come home. And I was like, okay. So then I go about my life, and that's when I released Tonight and all the songs from The Edge as well. And during that whole time, I felt like something was off in my voice, and I was disconnected from myself, and I didn't know why. And I realized that throughout that whole time, I needed to be angry, and I needed to let it out in my music. I needed to feel that anger. I needed to, it's good that I wasn't scared, but apparently my voice caved. That's what happened. So I felt like physiologically everything was different. And I was like, wow, the power of the mind is so powerful. So I turned it around, and I started, the way I got my voice back is I learned it at a retreat that I went to by Judy Stakey. They made us do this exercise where we kind of like project our voice in many different directions, and it's kind of like crazy. You're just like screaming basically to get your voice out. So then I took it to another level at home. I was like, all right, this is happening now that I understand myself better and where I was coming from, and the different perspectives. Now that it's been a few years, let me really try to get back to who I am inside. So I basically started getting my voice out at home every day until I was comfortable enough where it was just flowing. It was just flowing, and it felt beautiful. I felt like me again. I felt like I could take my voice to the next level. I felt like I could sing anything, which is a feeling that I don't know. My voice just wasn't listening to me because I wasn't listening to her. That's the best way to put it. So then everything changed from there. And when I started DJing, which was basically like a year later, a year after I got my voice back, I started playing around. I would DJ other people's tracks initially because I was kind of new to bass, which is kind of crazy because now I'm in it, And before I was like, okay, I listened to it at music festivals, but I wasn't really I didn't know the artists, and I didn't really understand it much. I just wanted to kind of let go at festivals. So then I started DJing with it, and I'm like, what's that sound? I started putting everything together. I'm like, wow, this is really interesting. And then sometimes I felt called to sing on it, sing anything. I was at home. I was just messing around with a controller, And then at one point I'm like, wait a minute, I got something here. And I felt that spark. It was like that aha moment. I was like, yes, this is something that I could do. Why don't I do a live stream or show, because we were all in quarantine at the time, and do this type of performance. I'll DJ and I'll just improvise, and then whenever I feel like singing, I'll sing right there and then, whatever I feel like singing, however I feel like singing it. And then it's been a year now since I've actually started performing with my DJing. So I'm bringing it to a good shape and way of doing it.
Definitely. Like I said, it's impressive that you're able to combine everything together, especially with DJing, because a lot of people don't understand DJing is a tough job. I always say
It
that, especially when you're at parties and you're over music for everybody in that party to enjoy. So, or you're at that concert, you have to make sure everybody is on your wavelength. Don't you find it challenging to be a DJ now?
Yeah, and also one thing I hate, and now I understand. Before I DJ, I did not. When people ask you for songs, like they make song requests, Oh boy. When you're DJing, you're in your own vibe. You have your own plan, or you're like creating it. You're in, like, and also the BPM might not match. Like, what are the chances somebody's going to request a song that is exactly where you are right that second? Like, oh my God, I don't want a tip. I don't want anything. I'm going to keep going with my own vibe. You just enjoy the show.
It can knock you all off too. I hate when they come up and request. I understand if they want to hear a certain song, but it's like I was
Yeah,
the other
I
week.
got it.
So, yeah, I want to hear this right now. I'm like, that doesn't go with the mix that I'm doing. And like you said, you're in the middle of creating, like you're painting, and someone is saying, "Oh, put green on it," when the whole picture is red. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah, so I know how that is. So who were your influences growing up? Like, who did you look up to musically to help craft who you are today?
Oof. Well, a lot of different people in a lot of different places. First of all, my dad, because he's the one that basically taught me music without even like teaching it to me. Like he used to sing to me all the time as a kid and growing up, and he's very passionate about music. He walks around the house with a guitar all the time. He just has his guitar attached to him. So he really inspired me because eventually I did the same thing, and I feel like I would have anyways. I feel like it was always inside of me, but that definitely was a big encouragement to have a father that understands and a mother that understands too. But then as far as artists go, I was kind of like an outsider in my city in Sicily because everybody was listening to more popular things, or even like Italian popular songs, which are a little bit different. They don't travel all the way here. And I was listening to artists like Akon, Snoop Dogg, Black Eyed Peas was a big one for me. Usher, you know what I mean? I was in that phase, and I spoke English since I was a kid, so I learned how to like rap, and the first song I ever learned was My Humps by Black Eyed Peas. I started like rapping at school. I felt so cool, I was a little kid. But then sometimes people didn't really follow. Like at one point when I started going too heavy with like my my preferences with like the songs that I listened to and the progression of it, at that point yeah, they would lose me. They'd be like, yeah, no, I'm gonna go back to this lighter stuff. So when I came to United States, that was instantly like, bam, okay, yes, that's people know good music here. so so that's kind of like a lot of my inspiration came from that. Then as far as female singers, Ashanti was a big one. And let's see, well, Fergie was too. So I ended up kind of like trying to be like a mix of like Fergie and Ashanti without trying. Like I'm always myself. Like my voice has its own ring to it. I don't try to imitate people. But yeah, I would say those were my influences. And then in New York, when I started going to festivals, everything changed. I started listening to Vanek and Alice in Wonderland and DJs like, Bass Nectar. Let's see, who am I listening to now though? Tipper, Peekaboo,
So,
Casbah.
what type of music are these artists? Like, what type of music do they make? Because I haven't heard of them. They're all cool
Bass.
to me.
Bass and trap,
Okay.
which gives me the most freedom to experiment with my voice, because I realized lately, especially, that I'm able to get my voice out more and do even more cool things when the beat is very minimalistic. Give me something really like minimalistic and heavy, but like spacey, and I can create whatever on it, and I can cover any song on it, and it's something I've been experimenting to recently as well with the whole acapella thing. I've been going live on Instagram, telling people to DM me with whatever song they want to hear, and I'll cover acapella for them, and I'll mention them. So it started as a game the other night because I was bored, and then it got into like 2 full days of like people giving me requests and me like covering them for them, and it was I wouldn't turn down anything. Like I sang a song in like in Pigden by a friend of mine, Duncan Daniels, and I didn't even know half of what I was saying, but the other half was kind of like English. And I kind of like took all these requests and pushed myself to bring my voice there, no matter what key it was in, or like what type of music it was in, what genre it was in. Somebody requested When You Love a Woman, which is totally out of what I normally sing. So it was fun, and it's been a good exercise to really be able to understand my voice more, and and really like truly like see how much it can do, you know.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, I was going through your Instagram stories today, and I saw that you were doing requests, and I think that's a great way to be interactive with your fans, your supporters.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
important.
yeah, for sure. So speaking of festivals, I saw that Synchro Fest. Is that how you pronounce it? Synchro Fest. So that's going to
Yeah.
be Miami, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, next week.
Tell us about that. Are you so you're going to be performing there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, performing on the first night of the 27th at 9 p.m. and then on the 28th, time to be determined. And yeah, I can't wait. I was communicating with these guys in New York, and they've been trying to get me on some shows, but I always had like for some reason I always had other shows or other things going on in those specific moments, and we kept missing each other. And then you know, the Miami dates came out, and they're like, "Yeah, we'd love to have you," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be there. Hell yeah!" So I'm going on the 24th, and I'm gonna be back on the 29th. You know, try to get a tan too or something. And I can't wait to perform. It's gonna be my first festival. I did a lot of virtual opportunities last summer while everybody was on lockdown, and I also performed at Alchemy Gathering, which was in person, which was nice, and also live streamed. But this is like my first festival. Like normally I'm in the tent, I'm not on the stage, so that's gonna be nice. I can't wait.
Yeah, that festival, man. And I was surprised that they're actually doing it. I think this is one of the first festivals they're going to be having because a lot of states are opening back up now.
Yeah,
I think California, definitely Texas, they removed the mask mandate. So everybody, it seems like we're headed back into that path
I
of
know.
being normal slightly, you know. So, um,
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, I hope it continues though, because then if we go through another wave and they got to shut things down again, people are going to be like, all right, this is not being handled the right way, you know, clearly. But yeah, no, I'm actually looking forward to going to Texas for that too. You know, like when you know you're healthy, you've been tested and stuff, and then you travel to places where you know are kind of safe, that's really liberating. Like I feel like we almost forgot what it feels like to just live a normal life. We're all like used to it now, we're fine with it, but is it really like what we're like supposed to be used to and let ourselves go to? It's been like it's going to be 2 years now, you know. So I feel like that's going to be a great experience. I actually performed in Texas at the same event 2 years ago, and then last year they I didn't do it because the lockdown, and yeah, so they started like shutting down some shows, and then they tried to, and yeah, so this year is going to be a longer set, maybe sets if they give me 2 days, and I'm looking forward to that.
definitely, definitely. And you have another song that you put out called "I'm Better," the remix. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. So I got a chance to check that out. Where can people download? Is it on streaming platforms or where is that at? Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty much everywhere. So Spotify, Napster, Tidal, Apple Music, SoundCloud, and YouTube. I believe no, it's not downloadable from SoundCloud. But some of my songs are. You know, I wanted to kind of like give the freedom to people to maybe like, you know, DJ with them, or, you know, have high quality versions of them if they ever want to use them. It's always like a delicate balance to find, you know, because you don't want to like you as an artist, that's the thing. We don't do it for the money, but then we, in order to be good at it, in order to live off it, then we need to earn. And now with everything that's happening with Instagram and Facebook and videos being blocked and removed, I mean, I'm going on a tangent, but like what crazy times we live in. You know, I feel like somebody needs to make a change, because I'm at the point where I can't post a story with TV in the background because that's copyrighted too. So it's like, what?
So crazy. I remember last year when everything shut down, DJ, shout out to DJ D Nice, he was doing like a virtual party. And then every
Nice.
DJ tried to do that and put the cash up there because, you know, when the clubs shut down, how are the DJs and the parties are shut down? How is not just the DJs, but the entertainers, you know, the band,
Yeah.
just the concert promoters. There's been so many people as a whole that have lost out on money. It's like, how can we enjoy ourselves? So DJs were going on live doing their little sets,
Yep.
and but then record labels started looking like, hold on now, we're losing money too, so let's try to make money off of that, and then it just all just messed up. COVID just
Yeah.
messed up. Yeah.
I know, exactly. But in a way, I feel like, you know, we are going to go back to normal, no doubt. So when we do, though, we're going to have this other way of performing and this other way of throwing events and of getting exposure, you know, even on platforms like Twitch and TikTok. Like, okay, some platforms are giving us issues, but there's like more, luckily, you know. So I feel like this new way of doing things that artists and entertainment industry people have acquired throughout these months is a huge treasure that we will be taking with us and changing history with. But it is very important to have in-person events again. So that's always going to be. I hope at least that we're never going to lose that. You know.
Yeah, yeah, like it's hope now that you're saying you're going to the Synchro Fest, and we got different concerts. And
Yeah.
I'm in Atlanta right now. We're wide open. There haven't been any like major concerts here because I think they're still going by COVID guidelines. But we have car shows and different things like that where you can
There you
actually
go.
like drive in and just watch somebody on stage, which isn't the same as like a festival or concert. But you know, we got to make do what we can, you know, until this
Yeah, and
pandemic.
it's dope in its own way. You know.
Definitely, for sure. But yeah, I'm excited to hear more music from you. Like I said, those 2 songs that I did get, those were pretty good. How can everybody follow you? Name all your social media handles and where everybody can check out your music, all that stuff.
Sure. So you can check out my music everywhere, like I was saying, all platforms. It's available internationally. And as far as myself, I'm Kendra Black Music on all social media platforms except for Twitter, which is Kendra Black Live. And my website is kendrablackmusic.com.
Okay, got you, got you. Are you on Twitter like that? Do you be on Twitter heavy at all?
Ah, eh.
Yeah, usually when people ask for my social media, I say I have a Twitter, but I can't stand Twitter. Instagram is my thing. Instagram and Facebook, I like those the most. But
I like to list all of the options for following. You know, there might be someone out there that is heavy into Twitter. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go follow her. You know, I don't know, somebody.
there's always somebody, obviously, yeah. But anyway, yeah. Kendra Black, thank you so much for joining us on ResView today for this exclusive interview. Like I said, y'all need to check out her music. She has something good going. And if you're gonna be in Miami, make sure you go to the what? The Synchro Fest.
Fast.
Definitely, definitely. So yeah, thank you again for joining us. You know where to follow me at, y'all, at JRed, at JAYR3D, all social media platforms, and visit resview.com to make sure you get your ResView t-shirts. And also subscribe to youtube.com/The Authentic Network. But this is JRed, Kendra Black, ResView, and we're signing out.
Don't give up, you gon' be on. Don't give up, don't give up, give up. Don't give up, you gon' be on. Don't give up, don't give up, give up. Don't give up, you gon' be on. Don't give up, don't give up, give up. Don't give up, you gon' be on. Don't give up, give up, give up.